While you were going about your day.
Flying disc.
God bless all of you.
And welcome to DUM 105, guys.
DUM the fifth. DUM V. So, on this DUM show, we're going to be talking about a Banksy painting that got stole from the side of Poundland and then was exploited for extreme profit.
And we're going to also be looking at fizzy drink tax to prevent obesity.
And then there's also now a large Hadron Collider
in space.
That's the Big Bang Theory.
Pretty much. And then also about that pesky meteor that scared everyone over in Russia. As well as really cool music from Brighton based band Eyes, Tiger Cub, a few other cool people like Real, Drum Boy from Germany and the United States, as well as a whole host of other.
You can actually check us out on Facebook /DUM Brighton if you want to follow up with a few visuals and
Anyway, we've got a tune now by Tiger Cub. It's called Little Rope. I only heard it the other day. Spoke to a few of them guys. I might actually have some recordings that I can dig out in a second. But yeah, let's hear Little Rope. It's quite good. I don't want to analyse it too much. I just think it's a fair play tune.
Tiger Cub.
Under all the skin I see your faults. Drain this heart until I have enough. 'Cause all I have is skin and bones to trade. So this cut, she was not hopeful unless I calm down. So be my little rope. Let it down, be my little rope. Let it down, be my little rope. Let it down, be my little rope. She called out as she lay in my arms. She said, you look better when all the lights are off. And I get down in times of trouble until I fall. She was not hopeful unless I calm down. So be my little rope. Let it down, be my little rope.
So what we're going to talk about now is it's about Banksy, and for those of you that don't know, Banksy is a guy with a very, very deep, distorted voice and no face, and he goes around doing street art that is fairly popular. People like it, people enjoy it. I don't know whether it's because they don't know what his face looks like, or he has got no face. I don't know.
It definitely was in his prime maybe a few years ago, but you do see his stuff knocking about still. We're looking in Brighton to actually have it's actually a replica now, isn't it? They sold it.
They sold the actual one?
Yeah, it's the Kissing Policeman for those who aren't aware of it in Brighton. And they use like a chemical peel to take off the actual graffiti, and they did actually paint over it to kind of leave it.
No way, that is dodgy. Well, this one that we're going to be talking about today, it's a picture of some kind of like small boy, and it was to do with the Queen's Jubilee, bunting stuff, the United Kingdom bunting they will have for the Queen's Jubilee. It was him basically sewing bunting. So it's kind of a oh, here, look at the Queen, but then also lots of pain and suffering went into that bunting.
Yeah, there's a little lollipop going on.
And it was on the side of Poundland, and then one day it disappeared, and then a few days later it showed up on an auction website for like 500k.
Wow.
Is that again like what I just mentioned about taking the actual graffiti off the wall?
That's possibly, the same kind of thing. So I mean, what should they have done? You know what, I think he actually used a real bit of bunting. That must be the most expensive bunting in the world now.
Where would you even buy bunting?
Well, I guess you'd buy it in Poundland.
Makes sense.
No, it would have been quite easy for Banksy to just walk into Poundland. People would have been like, oh, that's £1, mate. That guy's got no face.
Maybe that's the whole idea. Maybe that's what he's going for. The irony of the irony of all those old women at home with bunting in their cupboards, and makes them feel part of something really special. Stealing art isn't just going into a gallery anymore. It's actually stealing.
He did go into galleries and put his own artwork up in like Tate Modern and stuff like that. So
I was seeing on the tube there was some fake signs put on there. One of them in particular caught my eye. Ironically, it was called "No Eye Contact, Fine £200." I thought that's quite good.
Yeah, that's alright. Yeah. I think the thing is though, because Banksy's artwork's selling for so much, he went into the Tate Modern, put his artwork in there, and I bet they were like, "Who did this?" "Oh, it was Banksy." "Oh, we'll just keep this. We'll keep this and sell it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, Banksy. Like, at least put it in like an orphanage.
Do you know what I mean?
Think of the children.
Teaching is everything you want in life.
Well, welcome back after that extremely funky happy tune by Real. It might be Real, like the football team.
Okay, like Real Madrid.
Could be, I don't know. So what we want to talk about now is...
Fish on drugs.
Fish on drugs.
Just keep swimming, just...
From what I've heard, or what I've read everywhere, there are drugs basically being pumped into the river as waste from pharmaceutical manufacturers, and it is actually affecting the fish in the river. It's making them become antisocial, and it's really just altering their behaviour in a negative way.
Yeah, and exactly that. It's the waste compound isn't meant to be. It can't break up the anti-anxiety drug, as Mitch already said. And the fish have been dubbed to have been acting more bolder compared to unmedicated peers, which is quite interesting, really. Mimicking the behaviour of humans, maybe, as everyone knows what it's like on a club night.
They're not afraid to dance or whatever fish do in their spare time. You know, we haven't seen them at night. You can't see fish at night because it's really dark. It says they're going to be antisocial here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fish are actually venturing out to feed in open water without their peers, without a protection.
We swim.
And obviously more likely to be eaten by predators.
So they're just like antisocials and they're going out like lone wolves and...
Exactly, because obviously, as you know, animals, especially fish, as well as those smaller animals, working in a pack is key, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
These fish are like, I don't know what's come over to me, babe, and I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go venture out into the abyss.
Like, what do they eat naturally? They're just going out there and just...
Lint.
Like, what is lint?
Lint.
What is that?
I think lint is actually that stuff you find at the bottom of your pocket. I think it's more of an American term for fluff.
I thought they just like eat bread. I don't know what fish eat.
Yeah, I mean, we have two fish here in our in our house, and they usually eat flake.
Yeah, just flake. Like, does flake occur naturally in the river? I was actually going to say, when I first seen it, it just says drugs leaked into rivers makes fish antisocial, and it brought up the image of fish gangs going about and hanging around on park benches and just mugging people and stuff like that, getting asbos and that kind of thing. But
I just had a bit of an update in terms of what fish can actually eat, and they do eat zooplankton, and zooplankton are tiny floating animals, and the fish eating more of these rapidly could actually lead to a boom of algae which the zooplankton eats.
I was going to say, like, how's it affecting the zooplankton? I bet they're going around like just getting really antisocial and just like, you usually see lots of mist of them, but it's quite dispersed zooplankton. I don't know.
I mean, with a name like zooplankton, you're not got a ruler, really. You're like, yo, who are you, trout boy? My name's zooplankton.
Hello, zooplankton.
Hey hun, it's a party at mine's. I'm round the block, ain't hard to find. Just make sure that you bring 9 limes. Corona chill, baby, be on time. I milk you like mold. Got me feeling like a zoo. That we be in the mode. I'm a cannibal. I ate you up like oh. Just joking, you provoking, finger holding. Got you moaning, zoning out. Damn, that was just on the couch. Coming with to the bed, ouch. I said ouch, whipped it out. Censorship, now we out. Moving along, next route. The music groovy, yeah. Baby, I'm feeling what you wear. Just trying to get out of here. Just starting to get so cold.
I'm just gonna plug my band now. We're called Spit Shake Sisters, and we're recording our single in a couple of weeks. We got a couple of new members, and it sounds pretty fucking rad at the moment. Not gonna lie, drugs are gonna love us.
No, this is for DUM. This is DUM.
Okay, this is DUM. Hi, I'm Harrison.
Right.
And I'm pretty dumb.
Is this Britain?
No, this isn't Britain. This is a multicultural country in which I am no racist, but in which things are going tits up and things need to be sorted out. But I'm no politician. Like, if so what if I have 11 kids? If they want to find me, they can live in my house with me. Like, that's my fault that happened. I probably should have thought better at the time. I was probably drunk.
We have a serious issue on our hands. The government are preparing to tax fizzy drinks, and this is to prevent obesity. And this is what the doctors ordered, basically. The doctor, you know what the doctors ordered?
Who's the doctor?
I don't know, some doctors have ordered that fizzy drinks be taxed to stop people becoming so obese, because people can't think for themselves. They've got no self-control. They're just gonna keep drinking that stuff until they die. Just like that woman that actually drank something like 6 litres of Coke a day or something like that, and then eventually died of a heart attack. She also smoked 40 cigarettes a day, but what's more important about the story is that she drank like 3 to 6 litres of Coca-Cola a day, and that's what killed her, not cigarettes. She died of a heart attack.
I mean, I do find it hard not to come up with like a backstory to why they're doing this, you know, besides the fact that they're telling us it's for obesity. And I am having a trouble actually doing that. You know, fizzy drinks in themselves have like, what does a can of Coke have? 40% sugar. It's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, a lot of sugar, yeah.
But then, you know, as you just said though, why not? I'm a smoker, but why not tax cigarettes more? Why not tax?
They're already doing it. But the only thing I think is that like they should just have like warnings of like people with rotting teeth, or like, you know, like they have on cigarette packets, or like how much sugar is actually in it, like in bags or something like that. That might be a bit more sensible. But obviously Coke couldn't ever get paid enough to do that, you know what I mean, to their own products that are so big.
Do you think maybe the Conservatives in the House of Commons sit on a nice cool glass of Coke, or do you reckon it's more mineral water?
Do you know what I actually think? I reckon it is mineral water, to be honest with you, but I think the real reason is ever since most of the dentists got privatised, the government doesn't really care about them, because what you think dentists are going to say about people with rotting teeth? Dentists always say look after your teeth, but they'd be out of a job if you really looked out of your teeth, wouldn't they? You know, so
true, yeah.
So yeah, we're just trying to tax obese people. We're not trying to fuck over the dentists. Fat people going down the street, like, fair play to them. Maybe it's not just fizzy drinks. Maybe it's like either a physical problem. They've got, like, you know, some people are just naturally obese. I was going to say, we've got a tune now by Drum Boy featuring Israelio, and Israelio has actually got like 10 aliases. He likes cartoons. Drum Boy's my brother from Germany, who, you know, I chat to on Twitter, and apparently I've got a tune coming out on one of his compilations, which should be cool. And this is just a dope tune. He's got the, you know, the hip-hop down, basically. So we'll have a listen to that and then come back.
Being professional, what does that mean?
Getting paid for what you do. Professional.
Having your own style.
Yeah.
And doing your own moves.
Don't let nobody else bite from you. Doing it for a long time, knowing what you're doing.
Graph right, tag talk. Graph right, tag talk. Graph right, tag talk. Ill rhyme relates with primer, spoken word hip-hop, two-timer, sublime rhymes, spitting wild, took my time, do porn, I can write in any font, me like Mr. Cause in a picture of your chick naked, your wife and your sister. Some folks poke fun and they don't be digging me. When you held my toxic fumes, it causes your kidneys. The fail, that means you're dying, you can go to hell. My rhymes can turn Wesley Sykes to Kate Moss, Pell and Frail. It's the Ridge hates kids, nigga Riggs this shit. The poet Michael Morton, you say I suck, I boogie important, I spit like those guys on 12th Street, Joe Warren, Gordon Gordons. I book a chords, just break, can't press the valve, now some crazy styles. Damn it, left, right, tag, talk on the wall, on your soul, either way it's graffiti. Y'all can't fuck with me. Y'all can't fuck with me. Left, right, tag, talk on the wall, on your soul, either way it's graffiti. Y'all can't fuck with me. It's Israel with a strange Jim Kid, but call me is the Wiz. Who'll punch from your jibs and elbow in your ribs. Meets me at your crib, me and make a fat Ross, Brock and Aquanaut. T-hands and tall T, so don't fuck with me. No assault or charge this time. We just came to fuck you up with our rhymes. Style wars was just kinda sad. About my skills I boast and brag and right over your tag. Different colors in my Wilson's book bag. I ever saw you all your walls. The man chewing the mortar. My tag is up on billboards like, oh Lord, how the fuck you get up there? I swear he's an alien, I'm one of E.T.'s friends. He probably got locked up on a phone home. My rhymes will put a tag on your dome. Michelangelo street art with my poems. Spray cans and pistols, damn it. The pen is the weapon that I brandish. Rap, right, tag, talk on a wall, on your soul, either way, graffiti. Y'all can't fuck with me. Spray cans. Damn it. The pen is the weapon that I brandish. Rap, right, tag, talk on a wall, on your soul, either way, it's graffiti. Y'all can't fuck with me. Spray paint and 38s, I got y'all drawn to the crime on. I'm Zorro of the flow with spray can, pen or pencil or stencils. Vandalism with my verbal jism. My boys grab the eggs if we gotta go get them. You and your chicken patrol, but your whole life rolls. A pound is push when pen up pick a line. Now you know I'm caught a boom while you die. Masterpieces on trains anywhere, even the concrete is my canvas. Spray paint or pistols, I create all but either one, no matter which one is brandished. Damn it, food for thought the families, but I ain't gon' feed ya. Spray paint and pistols, the flow trippers and reefer. Get high off my rhymes, a nigga low and dime. I suck like a comet, big shit out the vomit. Hints and dose, and all other dope folks. Big up cause I'm taking up like a fuck on the blue line. So I shake my flow up like a fuck and do some right myself. The song's made by me, but here's the whiz helped. Spray cans and pistols, damn it. The pen is the weapon that I brandish. Rap, right, tag, talk on a wall, on your soul, either way it's graffiti. Y'all can't fuck with me. Spray cans and pistols, damn it. The pen is the weapon that I brandish. Rap, right, tag, talk on a wall, on your soul, either way it's graffiti. Y'all can't fuck with me. Spray cans, pistols, damn it. The pen is the weapon that I brandish. Rap, right, tag, talk on a wall, on your soul, either way it's graffiti.
So now we're going to talk about rats with sixth sense. And that was a rat right there. Yeah, so basically researchers have put very, very small pieces of wire that are like a tenth of a human hair thick into rats' brains because rats don't care. Rats are like, yeah man, it's better than my normal existence. Plus I'm albino, so I'm not really going to get very far with hanging out with any of the other rats in the real world. Anyway, so they put the electrodes in their brain and apparently gave them some sort of sixth sense that allows them to, see infrared light, and then hoping in the future maybe to put
try to take over the world.
These electrodes in people's brains, or are they just seeing what they can do? I don't know.
I mean, I think eventually they talked about kind of restoring someone's sight if they were to have lost it in the future. I suppose, it's all a development into some future existence that we're all going to be part of eventually. But, I always wonder what it's like for a rat to have a sixth sense. I mean, are they going to be are they going to be aware of having this sixth sense?
Oh, are they going to be aware of it? Are they going to be using it to their advantage? Like, is one going to escape from the lab and then just start terrorising the world and, saying things to people when they sleep and stuff like that? I don't know. Like an albino rat with alopecia.
Do you think you'd have a sense of individuality as a rat?
Well, I mean, you can see what everyone else is thinking. If they're thinking the same thing as you, being a rat, like, oh, I'm hungry, I want some cheese. I'm a rat, I want to procreate. You probably think, maybe I'm not that individual, I've just got sixth sense. I'm thinking the only kind of telepathic rat I could even think of is like Splinter. He's not telepathic, but they're all going to be like Splinter, aren't they?
From Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yeah.
They do, I think it's dolphins as well that are meant to have that kind of sixth sense. Is that right?
Yeah, they can see in I don't know about sixth sense, but because they see with sonar, they can actually see people's heartbeat and see inside their bodies. Wow. Stuff like that. Yeah. So now we have Ariel Pink's Haunted Graffiti with sorry, but I chose Bright Lit Blue Sky.
Chief, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
I
So, other things that people have been chatting about this week, or that's big in the news. The asteroid.
It was the end of the world for Russia.
For a very small amount of time, it was the end of the world in Russia.
Did you see them videos?
Yeah.
Right.
It was amazing.
Truly, like, I would have honestly been quite retrospectively happy if I was injured, not to fatal extent, by an asteroid.
It's just very unlucky, like, out of all the places in the world it could land, like, it's going to land in a very unlucky kind of place. And
do you think it was America?
It's a nice conspiracy theory, definitely. People want it to be, but they did actually find the asteroid. It landed in a lake, and like a frozen lake as well, so they just found a big circle in the lake, literally. Like, it's amazing.
Was the water gone?
No, the water was still there. It was a very small asteroid that they found, mainly made out of iron, which is why it made such a big bang, apparently. And it made a big circle in the lake. They found it, and they were like, oh, it is an asteroid, not those pesky Americans. Unless Americans are into making asteroids now.
Okay.
I was going to say, one of the more terrifying things about that event was that it landed in Siberia, which isn't actually too far away from North Korea, and I can imagine if it went over North Korea and started smashing some windows over there, like a thug, asteroid thug. It probably would have set off some sort of chain of events which would have caused World War III. Probably would have made me believe in some sort of a god just coming around and going, this might be with a steel ball and fuck everyone up, basically.
No one wants to mess with North Korea though, even though they might not have any protection, which is very unlikely.
I was going to say actually about that Russian thing, the reason why it got captured in so many places is because for some reason in Russia at the moment, and it's like an internet phenomenon as well in the same respect with videos, everyone's got these dash cams on their cars and they're just capturing so much mental going on, basically.
I did actually wonder that. I wondered why there was so much footage on YouTube. There was maybe like 15 different shots.
Yeah, it's these dash cams that everyone's got. Like,
why do they have dash cams?
I think it's an insurance thing. So basically having these dash cams, if they get into an accident or they do anything, they've just got this proof right there. Like, right. Or if someone jumps in front of their car trying to commit suicide, like that kind of thing happens for some reason quite a lot in Russia. Another funny thing to note about it is if you watch some of those asteroid videos, you notice how none of the cars stop. They're just carrying on.
Yeah.
Going about their day. Because that's what happens in Russia.
I actually got up out of my seat watching that YouTube clip. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
And what got me as well is that obviously there was the issue with the asteroid that was coming close to Earth that was going past us that they once thought might,
that came like the same day, but later.
That was unexpected and undocumented as well until it actually hit Russia, which is quite scary, really, because they were, focusing on this other meteorite, and then actually one slipped past the radar and actually went into Earth's atmosphere.
What's kind of terrifying is I don't have any of the numbers, but I know the asteroid that entered the Earth's atmosphere that day was it wasn't big, it wasn't like miles wide, it was like probably meters wide, whereas that one that went past Earth was like miles wide.
No, that was if that had actually, I think it was compared to being the size of, it would have taken out the whole of London. It would explode people's heads in the surrounding areas of England.
Yeah, it would actually mess things up considerably. It did actually say that right now in Russia there is a Will Smith type character currently fighting the aliens that are emerging from this asteroid and saving the world once again, undocumented. He's probably accompanied by some sort of little boy or a dog, which keeps him company throughout the movie, so he's not just talking to himself while the narrative continues. But whether that happened or not, he's like a Russian Will Smith or whatever it was. Yeah, whether that happened or not, I'm very happy that event happened and no one was really hurt. Just a few windows.
I mean, all I'm thinking about is those fish in the lake. Fish on drugs.
Yeah.
Fish on asteroid.
Whoa, did you see an asteroid, man? No, you probably just on drugs.
I feel good.
And now, aptly, we have a song by a guy called Asterism called Stay Together, which is a really cool tune. Nice woody sticks going on in place of snares and woody.
There's no way there's no easy explanation.
Freaky.
And we're back.
We're back. So, I mean, Elliot, you say you want to, chat about some of your stuff. What's going on there?
So I've actually been kind of networking my own progress with a few different people. So I've actually been setting up a few different meetings with people in Brighton and the surrounding areas, one of which was Channel 4's Wet Pea Productions, who call themselves an ethical art agency, representing a whole host of different people in the street art scene who may not be able to represent themselves or know how to do that well. And yeah, they were a really nice duo that I met. It was a Guy Harris and Faye McDonald, and they actually had an event at the youth centre on Edward Street in Brighton with Sussex Police, and they actually had police spray painting the walls, actually trying to create a mural to bring awareness to domestic abuse, which was it was interesting, and they're trying to bring a new name to street art. Obviously everyone's seen tags and defacing of property, but it does try to create a good connotation from that, which I thought they did.
And it's just like Banksy, the street art. He was, trying to put his message out there, and he was, just constantly doing his thing, trying to support whatever cause he wanted, whether it was a political cause. And then I guess they're using their street art to promote something that's, important to them, and also more important to a lot of people, because it's a serious issue.
Yeah, exactly. And aesthetically, it looks nice, and you can portray a message through that as well. I've also been collaborating with my good friend Elliott Ironside, and you can find her blog Bish Bash Bosh. You can Google that, and also find some of my work at byromug.tumblr.com, and do remember the Tumblr is -GE.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. It's like Tumblr. Yeah, we've actually got another song now, and then we say our goodbyes, and then we've got another song, really. But the song's actually by Herbaceous, who is a good friend of ours. I heard her tunes. She's doing the BIM thing with a singer-songwriter course, and she recorded this. She recorded an acoustic song. It was I think it's a cover of Devendra Banhart, Little Yellow Spider, and it's sick. It is sick tune, honestly.
Oh, this is Herbaceous Shrub.
Herbaceous Shrub.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I know Herbaceous Shrub. It just clicked listeners who it is for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if she called Herbaceous Shrub because she's got like some skills with plants and botany or something like that. And
yeah,
make,
exactly.
Like,
yeah. She's quite an interesting character, and she's from Edinburgh, and we all know Edinburgh's northern Brighton in that respect.
And I think she got plugged by a blog as well. Gave her a few extra reviews there, and I think that everyone should listen to it because it's nice and chilled. It's definitely a nice piece of music. So here we go.
Herbaceous Shrub.
That spider knows something that I don't know, 'cause I'm goddamn cold. Little white monkey staring at the sand. Well, maybe that monkey figured out something I couldn't understand. Who knows? A dancing crab, and I stopped to watch it shake. I said, dance for me just one more time before you hibernate and you come out of crab cake. Hey there, little snapping turtle, snapping at a shell. All these mysteries inside, I know, but what they are I just can't tell for sure. letting off your spleen for sure. Hey there, little sexy pig, you mated with a man, and now you've got a little kid with hooves instead of hands, and all of the animals, all of the Hey there, little mockingbird, they sing about you in songs. Oh, where you been? Have you broke a wing? Haven't heard you in so long. Hey there, little albatross, swimming in the air. Oh, hey, you know I can't fly, and I think we really ought to play fair. And hey there, Mr. Happy Squid, you move so psychedelically. You hypnotized with your magic dance all the animals in the sea, for sure. And all of the animals, all of the animals. Hey there, Mr. Morning Sun, what kind of creature are you? I can't stare, but I know you're there, and goddamn how I wish I knew. Hey there, Mrs. Lovely Moon, you're lonely and you're blue. It's kind of strange the way you change, but then again, we all do too.
So, Dumb Points of View, the place where we find out what you think about us via snail mail. Or is it by letters? So let me get a letter right here. Okay, so this letter says, I was reading a book the other day, and the chapter actually had a story about a guy called Mitch and Elliott. It was called The Book of DUM. That's actually one of our own books that we've released on our own publishing company, and you know, all the stories are true in there, and thank you so much for having a listen to that. You can get that at Amazon.
Yeah, it was quite difficult actually researching how to publish our own book, but we did it, didn't we?
We did it, and it's quite hard. First we had to learn English, and then we had to learn how to write. We did it by hand, which was actually really annoying because we wrote like 500 pages by hand and then realised we had to write it up on computer. We should have just done it on computer.
Yeah, actually our computer broke at one point, so a lot of the pages are made up of tissue paper and lint.
Yeah.
And, so obviously a lot of time went into that, and we do advise readers not to have wet hands while they're flicking through the Book of DUM.
Yeah, the lint was actually a bit of an accident because we put the book in our pockets and this lint kind of got attached to it. We got another letter
And a girlfriend.
We got another letter here. I don't know if you can.
Okay, so this is actually from a Mrs. Marjorie. Anyway, Mrs. Marjorie, she's asked what our favourite colour is on a Sunday.
On a Sunday?
That's all it says, so I don't know, let's give this a go. I've never thought about this before.
I don't know, it's quite a strange thing to ask about a colour on the DUM show. I mean, we were quite lucky actually to be treated to a colour that had never been seen before once, and
I remember.
Yeah, it was absolutely bizarre. Like, I've never seen, I don't know, it's really hard to imagine a colour that you've never seen before, but it was mental.
It was, I'm trying to think what we even called it. It was,
That's what they called it, yeah. I mean, I can't even repeat that. Like, luckily you could learn what it was. It's like, it was quite an enticing colour actually, and there were a few magpies about it actually, just trying to pick it up. But
and what we always say at DUM is, salute that magpie when you see him, and every day after that you'll hopefully see a hippopotamus running around with slippers on his hands.
That happens so regularly. And we've got the final letter here of the day. That wasn't a letter. What kind of message are you trying to send to the people? And this letter says, I I'm a massive camera enthusiast. It's from Winston. And, Winsome.
Oh, okay.
From Winsome. And so I'm a massive camera enthusiast, and I've actually been capturing light reflecting off yourselves. We found out where you live, we followed you about, and at the end of the day, I've got you and your soul.
A little bit unnerving, but thanks, Winston.
I wonder if it's the same person that was looking through the curtains at us. I can see you know that person. I hope not, but, well, that's the end of the DUM show, and thank you so much for making it this far. If you've actually just skipped the whole show and listened to this bit right now, well, hello, I'm Mitchell, and this is Elliott.
Hello.
And, yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at MitchWadeCole. I don't actually say anything important or add anything to the world, but, you know, that's what I do.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can follow my meaningless pursuits at Biro Mug.
Yeah, and this is for the Mud Collective at We Are Mud.
And in collaboration with at DUM Brighton as well. And that's not a double entendre.
No, with a bit of splash of happiness and carrot juice.
And love and fish and all those things that make a rug nest to walk on.
What the poly papa?